Yo, what's up, guys? Look at the dislikes, yeah. Anyways, what's up, guys? How are we doing today? Almost equal dislikes? Hey. They proved the haters wrong. This was such a... Do you ever think hacks will ever get unbanned? No, I don't think so. Which is unfortunate. Because I don't think you should be like perma-banned or anything. And I think most people agree with me. It's just the people that want him perma-banned are the TOs who actually have a say in the matter. That sucks. 5 members and you'll ban me? You can't ban me from my own chat. You can't do that. Do it, Matt. If you think you can ban me from my own chat, then do it. Do it. Ban me from my own chat, Matt. Oh, what happened? Oh no, you can't do it? Oh, look at him. Oh, what happened, Matt? Why can't you do it? Yeah, exactly. Meat riding, we know that thing is an inch. Damn. I'm so sad about... Oh yeah, if you guys want to know what happened to the leffen video, so this summer, it got age restricted, just out of the blue for no reason. Like the timestamp was broken, like it was just the end of the video, like literally the end of the video. So I was like, okay, this has to be a mistake, because there's no, it was like for sexual stuff or whatever, like something like sexual content. I was like, okay, but the timestamp was literally the end of literally the last frame of the video, and there was no like nudity or sex. So I was like, okay, this has to be an error. So I at YouTube did not work. They said, yep, this violates the rules or whatever. I was like, okay. This is after I already appealed it. I was like, okay. I try again like the next day. Still, they say, yep, this violates the rules. This is getting age restricted. So I was like, okay, let me just edit it down. Probably the diss track. I edit out the diss track part and the very ending, just to make sure that it was just to make sure that those were probably the parts that were in violation, I guess. So I edited those out and it worked. But what happened was, when I edited it, it has to go through all the checks, like for copyright and that kind of stuff. And one of the songs that I used during the Shinkensu part, when I uploaded the video, I used like a just like a random type beat. But what happened was, after my video, somebody bought the beat and made a song with it. So then when my video finished processing the edits, then it got copyright claimed. So I just couldn't catch a break. So I had to mute that whole section of the video. So if you're wondering why it's muted now, if you've seen it then and wondered why it was muted, that's why. Yeah, it was probably that. Electrician. It was probably that got it age restricted. But then having to edit it out meant that now it got copyright claims, so then I had to mute a portion of the video to lift the copyright claim. So that's pretty unfortunate. But yeah, so this Who Wants to Be Timed Out? This didn't come across my timeline. I was in a group chat with some friends in Smash, and they sent this video, so I was like, okay, this is interesting, because it's relevant to the Matt, why'd you actually time him out? But yeah, it was kind of relevant to the current the drama with hacks. It felt like they were posting it like riding off the wave of the hack stuff, which, okay, cool. Let's just say you can probably tell by the like and dislike ratio, and also the fact that I'm doing the stream in the first place. It's probably not a good video. But what was interesting is that, hold up, if we go down to the footage credits, they cite my video and they play like a 6-second clip of my video to be like, okay, like showing an example of people hating leffen, which, okay, that's fair, like nothing wrong with that. They also cite .zip2, some other stuff, but yeah, they show they use my video as like an example of somebody disliking or hating leffen. You'd think they would like mention the points in my video, like not necessarily agree with them, right, but at least mention what they are, so that way the viewer knows why people hate leffen. Because I have the most popular video on leffen on YouTube, at least the most popular, like leffen, I guess, exposed video or whatever you want to call it. But like, even they made an earlier video about leffen and it got 1.5 mil, and mine has 1.5 mil. So if you're gonna cite my video, which is probably like the pinnacle of, like, I guess, leffen hate, at least cite the points, because those are probably the reasons why most people don't like leffen. Obviously, like, you don't have to agree with them, you don't have to like even come to an opinion on them, but at least say what they are, so the viewer actually knows why people dislike him. That's not what they do. We'll watch this video together, so that way you guys understand what I'm saying. Let me mute the music. Alright, so this is how a so-called villain proved the haters wrong. Alright, there are so many things wrong with this video, so we're gonna go through this slowly and try to cover them all.
Leffen is the most hated man in esports.
It's so easy to win in these other games. Cheap-ass character that you can't even fight against.
In this video, I'm going to explain to you why leffen is a disease that can be expected to fully erode the Smash community, as well as several other esports communities within the next 10 years.
Leffen has historically been one of the most despicable people. This guy sounds familiar. This guy sounds awfully familiar. You see, courtesy Beyond the Summit and the franchise YouTube. To exist in the FGC.
Over the course of 13 years of professional play across multiple games, he has managed to be hated by both peers and strangers time and time again. And yet, in spite of it all, leffen has persisted.
Yep, that's it. That's it. Leffen wins. Leffen makes the comeback. He beats all four gods in the wake.
Armada has no shield. Armada has Leffen! Leffen is our EVO 2018 Super Smash Bros. Melee champion.
Okay. We are seeing Beyblade in, but no, wake up 5P check from Leffen. He is undefeated, your EVO 2023 champion. He did it. He did it 100%.
When leffen loses, people celebrate his defeat. When leffen wins, people despise him. So we had to ask, why do people hate him so much? And is there really a wrong way to win?
That last part, you could probably guess what they're gonna do. Is there really a wrong way to win? You could probably guess what they're about to do there. That's foreshadowing what's to come.
Okay.
That is true, Matt. He's not one of those smashers.
Okay, so before we get to the video, just wanted to remind everyone that we have a brand new merch drop. thescore. Okay, so who is Leffen and why do people hate him so much? William Leffen Jelta is a Swedish pro who got his start in Super Smash Bros. Melee. After years of grinding the game, he finally won an EVO trophy in 2018.
Armada has no shield. Armada has Leffen! Leffen is our EVO 2018 Super Smash Bros. Melee champion.
But that was EVO's last ever Melee tournament, and around that time, Leffen started eyeing other games. He played Dragon Ball Fighters and later Street Fighter 6, but the game he really took to was Guilty Gear Strive.
Hold on for the YRC.
2S is just a bare miss. First on the table for Daru. They have mid dire. The block and the punish from Leffen, moving into our winners finals over Daru Eno.
Now, it's not uncommon for a fighting game player to dabble in other games, but it's extremely uncommon for a Smash player to do that. In fact, it's literally unheard of. But Leffen's entry into the FGC showed the world that his time in Smash trained him up perfectly for traditional fighters.
But really what I think he gels with the most are these high APM games, right? Like the Marvels, like the Dragon Balls, like the Guilty Gears, because that's kind of his DNA from Melee. It makes total sense why Leffen excels at these games where he's juggling different options when he has to constantly do something with his hands. But his brain is so
Constantly do something with his hands.
Oh my God, no way.
Yo, thanks for the 2. What is this video about?
What is this video about?
It's Leffen puff piece, basically.
sharp and so used to that he really is able to excel with those characters and juggle.
Perjury only happens in court. Yeah, no, it was a sworn statement. He gave a sworn declaration. Like, yeah, they didn't go to court, but it's still under oath. Like under oath, under threat of perjury. So yeah.
All those options.
Leffen's Strive top 8 at EVO 2022 was a mark of pride, a sign that he was a spectacularly talented fighting game player who could master both Smash and a traditional fighter at once, something that no one had ever done at the highest level. But that wasn't enough for him.
Next hit's gonna kill here, runs up. Gas is wrong. You can't really burst here either. It's gonna be the wall break. It's gonna be the kill. Slash moving on into grand finals for another chance against Umisho.
After falling in 3rd place at EVO 2022, Leffen redoubled his efforts in Strive. He switched characters and returned the next year to dominate.
See, this part I wouldn't consider like glazing. This part is just, I feel, is just exposition, like giving, because Leffen is a great fighting games player. Like, Leffen is like phenomenal across a variety of different fighting games. I don't think anyone would argue that. This is just exposition to like how good he is. All right, so far nothing wrong, no crime, no foul here. All right, this is all fair play.
Oh, stomps on his dome piece. That is a first for Leffen in winners finals.
That was a dominating performance right there.
Leffen though with a fully loaded clip is going to be long for man.
Oh no, you hate it on the big stage too, Chip.
Oh.
Chip, yeah, he had no meter, and from that range, no meter, no nothing you can do. Leffen moving on. The grand finals on the winner's side. Whatever you got to bring it out right now. Curse. Okay! You are seeing Beyblade in, but no, wake up 5P check from Leffen. He is undefeated, your EVO 2023 champion. He did it.
He did it 100%.
Yeah, the guy won EVO, and a huge chunk of the crowd was just silent. Compare that to the way that everyone was on their feet just a few hours later when Angry Bird won Street Fighter 6.
This is the chance, last guess for Mena of the tournament. Trade goes to the knuckle, it doesn't reach, and that'll do it. Angry Bird, your Street Fighter 6 Evolution 2023 champion.
And that brings us back to the question posed at the outset. Why is it that everyone hates Leffen so much?
Okay. So far, we're 5 minutes in. Okay video. Nothing too offensive. Nothing wrong. It's okay. These next like 7 minutes, completely out the window.
Leffen has a fairly troubled history when it comes to being called toxic.
Armada had known about it, and like while I was
when it comes to being called toxic.
Armada had
Armada had nude. He had nudes of Leffen, guys. He had nude.
Known about it, and like while I was coaching him on stage and stuff like that, he's been like trying to ban me the whole time. So at that time, I felt pretty betrayed.
The earliest days of Leffen's career are pretty much defined by his ban from the Swedish Melee scene for his behavior towards his fellow players.
We felt like we have to do something because this has been going overboard for a long time. So evidence.zip and that thread on Smashboards was basically a way to tell people our experience with him as a person.
But the controversies didn't stop even after he got unbanned.
So obviously I have had, you know, an interesting, not cordial relationship with Hungrybox. I have been pretty upfront about the fact that I hate him as a person.
From beefing with Hungrybox, to trash-talking old legends, to just generally being far more blunt with his opinions than any other player in the scene, Leffen picked up a lot of haters over the years. And look, everyone has that one friend who's just a little too real, who just talks a little too much trash. But that friend usually isn't one of the greatest players in the world.
See, this is the problem with this video, is that he reduces Leffen being toxic to, oh, he's just blunt with his opinions, or oh, like he talks too much trash. But look at what he said about the HBox thing when he says beefing with HBox. Usually beef is like two-sided, right? It's both sides hating each other and like going after each other. This was a pretty one-sided beef. And the problem with like the HBox thing specifically is that, okay, we talk about how later he talks about how Leffen was getting like death threats and stuff, and he dropped out of the big house, and how that was like unacceptable hate towards a player or whatever. But Leffen, like, do we just forget what Leffen did to Hungrybox? Completely unprovoked. It's not like Hungrybox did anything to Leffen. In fact, so in 2017, right, if you watch my video, 2017, Leffen had nothing but good things to say about HBox. Nothing but good things to say about HBox. He was all like, yeah, he's a great player. He's very good at punishing your mistakes and that kind of stuff. Just nothing but giving him his kudos, I guess. Literally 1 month later, because keep in mind, around the same time, like, HBox's reputation was starting to deteriorate in the community. And then all of a sudden, Leffen is like, HBox is a terrible human being. He literally did a full 180. Just 1 month later. Completely unprovoked. Nothing. HBox did nothing to provoke it. And then Leffen, just out of nowhere, for whatever reason, just started to jump on the HBox hate bandwagon. And then at Genesis, he refuses to shake his hand. All the way leading up to, well, first, obviously, there's the video, one of the many reasons to dislike HBox. Notice how they won't mention that. They don't mention that anywhere in this video. Where one of Leffen's friends give a fake story about HBox to try to impress him. And then Leffen posts it to his YouTube. And then a year later, a crab gets thrown at HBox. Like, we want to talk about people feeling unsafe at events, people getting like death threats and that kind of stuff. But HBox was, I mean, I don't know if this legally fits the definition, but like, that's basically assault. Like, they threw a crab at him and he ducked. Like, they threw a crab at his head at an event. Ironically, a VGBC event. But yeah, like, they threw a crab at his head. At a venue. We want to talk about Leffen feeling unsafe at events because hacks apologized to him. Like, and people apparently sent him death threats even though his Twitter DMs are closed. But we don't want to talk about, we reduce HBox getting a crab thrown at him and all the people who contributed to that movement, one of which being Leffen, with stuff like one of the many reasons to dislike HBox is should Puff be banned video where he's like, I hate HBox. Stuff at Genesis, like at Genesis where he refuses to shake his hand twice. He says, I have no sympathy for HBox. He's been rude to 99% of the community and basically just dehumanizing him. Like, obviously that, like, if Hacks apologizing to Leffen is inciting like harassment and death threats and forcing him to drop out of the big house, how is anything Leffen did any different? Anything Leffen did to HBox any different? But that gets reduced to, oh, beefing with Hungrybox. They weren't beefing. Leffen was just harassing the dude. Like, that was just like a targeted campaign. Like, when Leffen, this is kind of a memed on point in Hax's video, like with the pancake, like in how Leffen drew like the green Jigglypuff on the pancake and then like stabbed it in a video. It's like, what else? Like, why? Like, people want to be like, yeah, it's no biggie, like, who cares? But like, seriously, why? What is the point of that? Like, that's clearly targeted towards HBox. Like, what other purpose would it serve to draw the Jigglypuff on a pancake and just stab it on video and record it and post it? Like, what other purpose does that have other than to like target HBox? Like, with all the stuff Leffen was doing, and if I were HBox, I wouldn't feel comfortable going to an event with Leffen at it. But in a video like this just gets reduced to beefing with Hungrybox. Like, not gonna explain what actually happened? Like, it was more than just beefing. Yo, can you guys hear the music in the background? Okay, yeah. There's like people blasting music in my dorm, so I was just trying to see if it was getting picked up on the mic. thescore is such a bad YouTube channel. Yeah, I've heard like this isn't the first time that they've done like very surface level research and like that kind of just a poorly made video. Yeah, let me go back. I want to hear what else they said. Okay, trash talking, chilling dude. That was just like fun banter. So, okay.
Generally being far more blunt with his opinions than any other player in the scene, Leffen picked up a lot of haters over the years. And look, everyone has that one friend who's just a little too real, who just talks a little too much trash. But that friend usually isn't one of the greatest players in the world.
It's like, it's so risky.
Yeah, so they mention like, oh, he's just blunt with his opinions. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with being like an opinionated person or like thinking about the game you play competitively. But like there, as I said in my Leffen video, there are other people who have opinions on games, but you never hear them be like, oh, these people are toxic. Like, there are very opinionated people, but they're never hated to the level that Leffen is. It's almost as if there's a reason for that. It's like with Shinkensu, when the guy's like, oh yeah, I disagree with your video game opinions, and then Leffen just starts going ham, just like trying to instigate. Like, what? Okay, let's go through all the points that were in my video, and let's see how many, first of all, appear in this video and then aren't downplayed. So like the HBox one, that appeared in the video. He mentioned, okay, they beef with the they were beefing. I consider that like reductionist or whatever. So we had lying about events.zip when it was the interviews were in the Samox documentary. Oh yeah, that's something else that I think should be mentioned is Samox stated that the reason he edited out the events.zip victim interviews is because one of the victims asked him to do it and I think threatened to sue him over it, which I think the thing is to say like it was entirely Leffen's fault to edit out the clips from the documentary. I don't think that's entirely fair, but at the same time, Leffen definitely played some part in it. Like when Leffen is like, this is slander, this is defamation, and like a bunch of his fans are also like, yeah, I agree with Leffen, this is bad, this is like trying to tear his character down. Like I think that also played some part in it. Whether it was like the main reason, it certainly wasn't the only reason, but it certainly played a part in it. And again, him saying like, yeah, this is defamatory, this is slanderous, is like, that's also bad. Like, how am I supposed to believe that you've grown since then if you can't even acknowledge that it happened and be like, yeah, I was wrong for this? So yeah, so that's number one. So they mentioned how he was banned from Sweden. Not that he lied about all of it after the fact. I mentioned how He's incredibly blunt when he gives his opinion, so I'll give them a point for that. Okay, I'll give them a point for that. Yeah, no mentioning of like instigation. We'll play through the video. Maybe I forgot something, but instigating beef and drama in the community, especially with HBox, which they've just reduced to beefing with HBox, and not the fact that the whole HBox hate movement, which wasn't just Leffen, and Leffen didn't start it, but he still contributed to it a lot more than most people. In fact, I'd argue the most he contributed to that movement the most, which resulted in HBox getting a crab thrown at him at an event. No mention of that, just they were beefing. Like, okay. Like, if I'm watching this for like the first time, like no knowledge of anything in the Smash community, like just no knowledge, and this was my only reference point, like, why do people hate Leffen? And it was just, oh, he beefed with some top player. It's like, okay. But like, no, it's more than that. It wasn't beef, it was just targeted harassment, basically. And then the last point in my video was the Me Too stuff, which we'll get to later in the video. So those are like the 5 points. Lying about .zip when the interviews came out, being incredibly confrontational and being an instigator, the HBox stuff, and the Me Too stuff. Those are the important points, right? So let's continue.
Putting it all the money, all the tournament. Air dodge, oh my god, and it's done. Leffen popping off, and Leffen moves on.
Leffen
just throws a water bottle. Totally normal and well-adjusted behavior.
Now, Leffen's incredible skill earned him diehard fans, even while his brash attitude made him public enemy #1 to other members of the Smash community. And when he started playing other games, his heel status followed him there too.
Leffen, he realized he got himself into some shit that he can't get out of by accepting that invitation. He was like, I should have just kept mashing 6P with fucking Happy Chaos where no one can interact with me and I could play footsies full screen by myself.
Now, some of the hate that Leffen got on account of his EVO win was focused on his character, Happy Chaos.
So remember how at the beginning I was like, this is foreshadowing how is there a right way to win? Like that's how they framed the video. Like, remember how I said that would come in later and that's what they would focus on? They spend how many minutes of this video? We'll see. So we start at about 7 minutes. Okay. They talk about his character in Guilty Gear that's apparently like incredibly busted and like lame. So let's see. It starts at 7 minutes. Let's see.
Chaos.
Oh man, because he shoots you from full screen and then does like 80% of your life, and you're like, that's
also another gripe I have with this video. So they're interviewing this guy, and he's giving his insight, his opinions on FGC stuff. You'd think so. People hate Leffen, like from the Smash community, right? From his interactions in the Smash community, that's like where he began. That's where he made most of his enemies. That's where he got his negative reputation from. His time in the Smash community. You'd think they would interview someone from the Smash community to like to explain why he's hated, right? You think that's what they do, is interview someone who actually is from Smash. you think they do that. But of course not.
That's not how fighting games work.
Happy Chaos is among the more busted characters fighting games have seen in recent years. Ostensibly, he's a zoner. He's meant to control the screen and keep you at bay. In practice, though, he chips you from full screen before closing the gap and mauling you in the corner with little to no counterplay.
Very, very comfortable so far in his first game right now for Leffen. Perfect first round, working on a double perfect right now. BRC, this is what I talked about. The mix is not over. The mix is not over.
If you saw the
yeah, that's another thing, like interviewing Kensu, like interviewing people who had negative experiences with Leffen or don't like Leffen, you know? Like, that would also be another thing. But at the very least, like, interview, like, a prominent figurehead in Melee. It could be, like, Toph or Scar or somebody. Or, like, Ludwig, even. Like, just someone who could give insight into why people don't like him in the community. It could be incredibly surface level, but at least do that. Because this doesn't come across as like good faith if you're just gonna, if you're not even gonna like properly cite or elaborate on any of the reasons why like people in Smash don't like Leffen. Alright, let's
That's
continue.
before the overhead off the fuzzy. He really made you think he was gonna go low. That was so cool.
Now, fighting game players tend to dislike zoners in general. The feeling is that when
Dude, notice how he's gonna talk more about how fighting game players hate zoners and like Happy Chaos than he will like the actual reasons. Because he's saying this as if this is why people don't like Leffen, and this is like, he said, okay, he won Evo and no one cheered. Why do people hate Leffen? Oh, it's the character he plays. They were angry because he won with a character that was lame, and that's why they didn't cheer. But it's like, my video predates that by almost 2 years, and other videos and other people hated Leffen way before that. Like, people mass hating Leffen and Leffen being a villain predates this stuff by like almost a decade. So elaborating on like the whole Happy Chaos thing when he's been hated for years and years before that.
when they win, you don't really get to play the game. And while that might be a little overblown in some cases, Happy Chaos absolutely doesn't let you play the game.
A lot of times we've never had to deal with a fighting game character that's gonna shoot me with a hit scan style projectile, one that really connects very quickly. It doesn't have like a lot of travel speed where you're able to jump over it or slide under it or have these different things to avoid it. He's got incredible Oki up close where it's hard to defend against. It's not even just the fact that he's getting this big damage from far away. It's just something that I think it was very foreign to people.
Leffen won Evo with Happy Chaos, which certainly emboldened his haters, the ones who would say he was carried. But Leffen was also the only Happy Chaos good enough to make top 8, a point he was all too happy to make on Twitter after the win, rubbing salt in the wound and probably making him even more disliked by certain members of the scene. And anyway, these people hated Leffen back when he played Chip and Zato. Obviously, the new character choice wasn't doing him any favors, but their supernatural dislike was about a lot more than one broken character, which doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't really make sense. Okay, let's run that back.
Character choice wasn't doing him any favors, but their supernatural dislike was about a lot more than one broken character, which doesn't really make sense.
I gave a whole list of reasons to dislike Leffen a year and a half before he won Evo. If you want to disagree with them, that's fine. But to say like, okay, let me play this next bit so that way I can finish this point.
Leffen was an unknown quantity to the FGC.
Okay, let me try to get through this whole segment.
Which doesn't really make sense. Leffen was an unknown quantity to the FGC. He didn't have an old ban looming over his head or a history of talking shit. And yet, people found reasons to hate on him anyway.
They act like because he was banned in Smash, that somehow didn't play a factor in people disliking him across the entire, like, you act like okay, so he does all this stuff in Smash and that's why people dislike him in Smash, and you act like that doesn't carry over to the rest of what? And then even, okay, let's pretend that that's the case. Let's pretend that, okay, anything that happened, evidence.zip, hbox, whatever, that stuff didn't, let's say that doesn't carry over. And that, okay, let's pretend that he had a completely clean slate when he went to the FGC. Even then, before this, he still had like several instances of being toxic in the FGC. Years of research. Like he had, like with Tekken, where he was like, yeah, this game's the cheesiest game. Even though he's just bad at the game, or he was still learning how to play the game. And then you have like the Kensu stuff. It's like just because. Oh my god.
Oh my god, no
Oh, no.
way, yeah.
It's the shit-eating grin for me.
Oh my god. Dude. Yeah, there's surely no correlation between how he acts in Melee versus how he acts everywhere else. Yeah, it's like... It's like when he does all that stuff in Melee, you don't think that you don't think other communities look at that and say, yeah, this guy's kind of a dickhead? You think they just turn a blind eye because they're like, oh, like that doesn't count. That was the preseason. That was a scrimmage. And it's like, even with the FGC, he's had like moments of being like toxic and disliked. That's okay. Let me replay this.
Leffen was an unknown quantity to the FGC.
Unknown quantity to the FGC. He's one of the most prominent figures in Smash. Of course, he's not an unknown quantity to the FGC. It's like not knowing who Mango is if you play fighting games. Like, of course you're gonna know who Mango is. Of course you're gonna know who HBox is. It's like, how... Like, what?
He didn't have an old ban looming over his head or a history of talking shit. And yet, people found reasons to hate on him anyway.
It's like, it's like, it just gets erased. It's like anything he did in Smash just gets erased when he goes to the FGC. It's like it doesn't count. Just gets hand waved away. Like, no! Okay, let's continue.
Anyway, for being too cocky, for being too good, for not being good enough, for picking a broken character. But, most importantly, they hated him for his attitude.
Just like, he speaks his mind. And whether you like it or not, like, he's not really gonna sugarcoat what's on his mind.
Leffen materialized out of thin air into the FGC,
like,
exactly.
If he feels like something sucks, he's just gonna say it sucks. And I just think he speaks from his heart. And a lot of the time, that kind of gets you in trouble.
I have your solution, and it's called branding, all right? So maybe your thoughts aren't wrong, but your thoughts can't be coming out of your mouth, especially after losing.
Oh yeah, I feel bad for poor Leffen sometimes.
The context for this clip is HBox just beat Leffen, and then Leffen complained about like stalling and camping, but HBox didn't stall or camp the whole match, like during the match. So it's like, it's more than just speaking his mind. It's also just like, he's incredibly salty and toxic when he loses. It's more than just, oh, he has opinions. It's like also the context those opinions are being expressed. Like after a loss in which HBox didn't camp, and he's talking about, oh, we need to ban camping. As if that's the reason he lost, and that's the only reason he lost. And it's like taking away from the moment from like HBox winning, like taking away from everything to be like, we need to ban, make a more aggressive ledge grab limit. We need to ban stalling. But it's like, you didn't lose because of stalling. You lost because you just got outplayed.
Thoughts can't be coming out of your mouth, especially after losing.
Oh yeah, I feel bad for poor Leffen sometimes when I look at it. Because I know a lot of you guys, right? You think to yourselves, well, Leffen's just, he's being a crybaby or he's upset about it or whatever. But in general, the tweets, right? It just, I feel bad for him every time I see him type it. I feel like he needs to chill out a bit.
One of the prevailing opinions is that a lot of Leffen's haters would back down if Leffen just expressed his opinions differently. Like if he just took some of the edge off. But then, would Leffen really be Leffen if he did that?
So I do think that there would be like a sect of people that would like him a bit more if he did, like, you know, go walk outside for 5 minutes, collect his thoughts, like come back and give a very...
Get ready. This is This is well-adjusted behavior. If I went to a Smash event and someone did this, I would feel incredibly comfortable and
Very
safe.
like calm plea to changing something. No, that's not leffen, bro. That's not what I want. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that would definitely alienate a lot of the people that are fans of him.
Also, they're talking about this as if this is like the main reason why people hate leffen. And not like the 5 other reasons, or 4 other reasons I listed. It's like they're spending more time focusing on how he expresses his opinions, or like the character he plays. But yeah, he just beefed with HBox. That's what happened. He beefed with HBox. That's all that happened, you know?
Leffen represents a pretty unique caliber of player in the FGC and in esports at large. Players with top-tier skills and a polarizing personality are 1 in a million.
Those other people, the Sonic Foxes, the Punks, these players that kind of have such amazing results coupled with their personality, those are the players that really do catch fire. Those are the players that are getting over 100,000 follows on social media, that are really driving the viewers to click their videos, to watch their matches, stuff like that, right? The play has to be there.
The community needs people like Leffen. His status puts eyes on the scene. His skills force people to respect him, and his passion to be the best at everything.
Like, what he's saying here isn't wrong if you ignore every other reason people hate leffen. It's like they take all the other reasons people hate leffen and just reduce it. Yo, Sam, thanks for the 5.
Me when I purposely spread false information.
Exactly. It's like if they take all the other reasons people hate leffen and just reduce it to, I mean, yeah, he beefed with HBox. He was kind of toxic. It's like, are you gonna also mention the fact that he lied about the extent of his or like downplayed it when it came up in the Samox documentary? Like, are you gonna mention that? Are you gonna mention like the whole campaign that he boosted against HBox that resulted in him getting assaulted? Like his video, one of the many reasons to dislike HBox. Like, are you gonna mention that? Like, that's maybe a reason people don't like him. You're gonna mention how he's like more than just blunt with his opinions and at times just overly confrontational and like sometimes an instigator. Like, those are other reasons people dislike him. It's more than just, oh, he's good at the game with the character people don't like, and he gives opinions like bluntly. Like, it's more than that, dude. But they're not gonna actually mention any of that stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that stuff at the end because that's when it becomes a lot more relevant.
He touches means he's coming for everyone. Maybe he didn't win in the way everyone wanted him to, but that almost made his Evo win better.
They're spending more time talking about, oh, he won with a character, or he won in a way that people don't like, as if that's the reason people don't like him, as if people didn't hate him prior to that.
He won his way, being loud and cocky and better than anyone who ever talked shit about him. And most importantly, he's not actually an asshole. Or talk shit about him. And most importantly, he's not actually an asshole. Talk shit about him. And most importantly, he's not actually an asshole. He's just a guy.
I don't even think leffen would agree with that. It's like he spent this whole time being like, yeah, but Leffen being blunt is what makes Leffen Leffen. But also, he's not actually a bad guy. Like, what? Dude. Oh my god.
Guy with strong opinions. There's a big difference between being a heel and actually being toxic.
When I've dealt with him,
Yeah, he just beefed with HBox. He's not actually toxic. Like, you see, when you take everything, all the legitimate reasons people hate Leffen, and you just reduce them, you minimize them, and you, like, downplay them, then it's easy to just walk up to here and be like, I mean, yeah, there's a difference between having strong opinions and actually being toxic. Yeah, tell that to all the people he's had, like, negative experiences with directly.
come from a place that's like a logical place a lot of the time. When you kind of look at it that way and you just try to understand and be like, you know, you don't try to get
like they'll show clips of him like spiking his water bottle, spiking his controller, and be like, yeah, this guy not toxic, he just has strong opinions.
into an aggressive back and forth with them. I don't find him to be very aggressive as a person, but for the most part, I just think he speaks his mind in a way that he's not really worried about people's opinions on it, whether it's going to appease them or whether it's going to bother them. And a lot of the time, I think that just rubs people the wrong way.
That's not to say that all of the hate has been good. Some people have gone after Leffen for allegedly profiting off of Smash's Me Too moment in the summer of 2020, which is a ridiculous accusation on its face.
That said, though, I do think in general, you know, as a general, you need to believe victims, especially if they don't have a very credible reason to lie.
Notice how his arm twitches when he says lie. It's so noticeable.
Victims, especially if they don't have a very credible reason to lie. And even then, I generally think you should start out by believing them.
But once you
Okay, so that's the evidence. That's the proof that he didn't exploit the Me Too movement. Yep, that's the evidence. It's outlandish. They're not going to elaborate on why people believe that. They don't do that. They don't do that in this video. They don't elaborate on why people think that. They just say, that's outlandish. That's outlandish. It's outlandish, guys. Do you believe that? It's like, how are you gonna put my video as a citation and like put like me talking in the beginning for like 5 seconds as an example of somebody like disliking Leffen, but not actually citing the reasons properly? Like, if you want to disagree, again, if you want to disagree and say like, oh, this is outlandish, but actually represent the points properly, that's fine. I wouldn't care, all right? It's just agree to disagree at that point. But when you're just like, this is outlandish, can you believe that? But not actually elaborate on why people think that. It's like, anyways, for the people who are not in the know, who haven't seen my video, and even just stuff outside the video, basically during that time, he mentioned a story about how he was slapped by like an older guy when he was 16, and he mentioned in his video how he was slapped a bunch of times, but when he originally told the story, like way back in the day, it was only like once or twice, and a lot of the other people on the trip said it was once or twice, and it's like, okay, that's a weird detail to lie about, but whatever. Okay. Then Jisoo made her allegation that like Zero was showing her hentai at the Sky House, which was like, okay. And then Leffen then made his statement accusing Zero of looking at hentai with Japanese players at Apex 2013 to kind of like corroborate it. But then some of the Japanese players actually came forward and were like, yeah, anonymously, but they came forward and were like, yeah, that didn't happen. Also, at the time, Zero was like 17 at the time that happened. So if he was trying to like frame that, because I think that's an important detail, because in the context of showing Jisoo like hentai as a minor as an accusation, I think it's also important to note that the accusation that they tried to use to corroborate that, yeah, that I just think that's a detail. But yeah, then Leffen promoted another allegation that he would like share hentai in his Discord server with people underage or whatever, and wouldn't vet the ages, and said that, oh let me
silence. Just gargle leffen's eggs already, dude.
Yo, thanks for the 2 clip shelter. And Major Jeff, thanks for the 5.
Why do people not see all the shitty things leffen has done? People are so blind.
Yeah. But yeah, then he said he pushed another allegation from one of, I think, Zero's Discord mods that was like, that he was sharing like hentai or whatever with his Discord with like minors in it and wasn't verifying ages, and saying like, oh, he shared it with me when I was a minor, and he didn't vet my age. But that was the one instance that he didn't vet the age, and the mod ended up being an adult anyways. They weren't a minor at the time, and the mod would admit, yeah, they would check for ages when like sharing it. And it's not like they were just like sending like porn around just on a whim. It was like a specific thing that was like a joke in the community. There was like a specific like notification or like a sub notif, I think, that had like an NSFW ending, and to see the ending you had to, I don't know, it was something weird. But the bottom line is it wasn't true. The accusation wasn't true, all right? That's the bottom line, all right? And the Discord mod in question admitted, like, yeah, it was false. So you have the Apex story that was false to corroborate Jisoo's allegations. You have the moderator story that was false to corroborate Jisoo's allegations. You also have the fact that they talked, like Leffen and Jisoo talked before they put out their stuff. Then you have the Mewtwo King stuff, which basically there was a accusation that like Mewtwo King would bottom line is that was also false. And Mewtwo King ended up having to reveal very personal information to debunk it. And Leffen was one of the people who pushed it and spread it, even though I think there was like some sort of, I think like a paste bin or something like talking about it or like debunking it back in the day. It was a rumor back in the day. And there was something that like was spread around talking about it. So when Leffen was like spreading it way after the fact, it was like, you kind of should know that this isn't true. And it kind of feels malicious, especially since they know each other, or at least I think they follow each other. They could, if Leffen wanted to know the truth about it, like he could have just asked M2K privately instead of being like, oh, we need him to respond publicly. We need him, like, I don't know, people need to address this stuff. And it's like, you contributed to him having to reveal the private info to debunk it. And then you have the Westballs thing, where there was this, one of Westball's ex-girlfriends was like, oh yeah, Westballs groomed this minor at a tournament, and Leffen was like, oh yeah, I saw HBox with a child at a tournament, so it has to be true. And then the minor in question came out. She's an adult now when she did that, when she came out with this twit longer saying, hey, this never happened. No one ever reached out to me to get like my side of the story or like ask for permission to share it in the first place. Yeah, thanks for the 5.
I thought YouTube blocked inappropriate content. The meat riding in the vid is insane.
Yeah. But yeah, with the Westballs thing, it's like the girl herself said, yeah, this isn't true, but Leffen was like, oh yeah, this must be true, I believe this. And then after the fact was basically like, I don't need to apologize for spreading this. It's like, okay, dude. So yeah, that's just multiple instances of him like lying or like pushing false stuff to be seen as like a hero. They just need to spend maybe an hour max to know that Leffen ain't what they... Yeah, exactly. They'll cite my video as like, oh, this is people hating Leffen. Okay, why do people hate Leffen? Well, let's not cite any of the points that are in this video. Let's just take the footage because it's like a good soundbite for our video and make it look like we actually did research when we didn't. All right, so let's continue.
You have a few haters, you're bound.
Yeah, what did he say here? He said
Me Too moment in the summer of 2020, which is a ridiculous accusation on its face.
that's a ridiculous accusation on its face. But just not going to elaborate why people believe that. Okay.
Generally think you should start out by believing them.
But once you have a few haters, you're bound to get more, and they're going to spin things out to extreme proportions.
In Leffen's case, what you'll eventually find is that his hero status was entirely self-engineered. Everything Leffen is remembered as a hero for was a political heist in ways that people didn't consider, and his motivations are much darker than people realize.
And he just plays like a clip from the Hacks video to be like, see, these people are crazy. Like, hating Leffen, there's no reason to hate Leffen.
Leffen has talked about not feeling safe at events sometimes, worried that people would harm him. And no one deserves to get death threats.
Are much darker than people realize.
Leffen has talked about not feeling safe at events sometimes, worried that people would harm him.
I can think of another guy who probably didn't feel safe at events because people might harm him, because a crustacean was thrown at his head at an event. I wonder what led to that. I wonder why that happened. Oh, sorry, that was just beef. All right, moving on.
And no one deserves to get death threats over a video game for being their authentic selves, just because their authentic self can be a little tough to get along with sometimes. He's kept up the
A little tough to... Okay, first of all, he's right about the death threats thing. All right, don't send death threats. All right, there's a difference between disliking someone, criticizing someone, and then there's a line between that and like actually harassing someone. All right, so he's right about that. But when he says, okay, what did he say? Sorry.
Selves just because
He says, okay, hating someone for being their authentic selves just because they're hard to get along with sometimes. It's like, okay, dude. Okay.
Because their authentic self can be a little tough to get along with sometimes. He's kept up the trash talk, even minutes after winning Evo in front of a stunned crowd.
He's not actually a bad guy, guys. He's not actually toxic.
Crowd that was mostly against him. But then that crowd had to get up on their feet and applaud anyway. Because no matter what Leffen said, whether you agree with his hot takes or don't, he won. In that moment, in front of those silent onlookers, Leffen was the best Strive player in the world. He was a superstar, a god, hated and loved in equal measure. He won the wrong way, but that means he was right, because...
Dude, okay, so I did something similar at the end of my Hans video, where I'm just kind of glazing Hans. Like, despite all the irreparable damage to his career, he's persevered and continues to not let the drama slow him down. But at least I acknowledged, like, Hans' shortcomings. Like, at least I wasn't just, like, just hand-waving it away. At least I was just like, there's no reason to dislike Hans. There's no reason, alright? Like, I straight up said, I get the frustration in the video. This is just pure gawking. Like, this is just straight up, like, full, like, the whole, every single inch. Like, this is 6 feet under. That's how deep it is. Like, it's absurd. Hold up.
Player in the world. He was a superstar, a god, hated...
He was a superstar, a god.
And loved in equal measure. He won the wrong way, but that means he was right, because he was exactly what everyone needed him to be.
Thanks for watching. If you
Oh my god. This is amazing. I'm liking this video. We gotta help the ratio out. Yeah, that's the whole video. Notice how, like, when they say, okay, no one should feel like unsafe going to events, but all Leffen did was beef with Hungrybox. Like, what's the why should you hate him? Like, they acted like there's no legitimate reason to dislike Leffen, and just hand waved away all the legitimate ones and just downplayed them. And then emphasized, like, the extreme stuff, like the hacks videos, and, like, getting death threats. And they were like, he's just being Leffen. It's just Leffen being Leffen. It's It's just being his authentic self. He's not actually a bad guy. It's like, does this guy even know Leffen? Like, how are you gonna glaze him this hard? Check the comments. I already checked the comments. Had more beef than Korean barbecue. Had more beef than a vegan barbecue. Dang. Yeah, HBox had a crab thrown at him. You didn't know? Hold up. Hungry box crab. This is an actual thing that happened. Like, I'm not even joking. Hold up. It's like this. Like, you're not gonna mention this at all? Like, I get, okay, Leffen's not the sole reason this happened. It's not like Leffen threw the crab, all right? It's not like Leffen even told anyone to throw the crab. He didn't, like, incite this. But it's like when this happens, because there's, like, a whole, like, HBox hate campaign going on, and he's, like, an unpopular figure in the community, and everyone hates him. And you also contributed to that. Yeah, he added fuel to the flames. I made an analogy like that in one of my older videos. Alright, so in the they didn't watch anti-hackers. This is what they should have cited. Okay.
Word solely because it was Leffen, while Leffen didn't even know what he was talking. A campfire burning out of control. Let's say you decide to experiment. Let's say you walk into the woods and you see a campfire burning out of control. Let's say you decide, for whatever reason, to throw gasoline onto the fire to make it bigger. Now, are you responsible for burning down the forest? If you answered no, you are correct, according to the Smash community. Hungrybox.
It's like, yeah, you didn't start the fire, but you still poured gasoline on it. It's not like you walked up to a tree and lit it on fire, right? It's not like you cast fireball on the Amazon rainforest, right? But it's like you still contributed to it. You still contributed to the hate mob when you make videos. Like, one of the many reasons to dislike. I might actually have that video on hand. Let me see if I can find it. I might actually have it. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I think my first...
I have it. Let me see if I can...
Yeah, I think my first sub was also HBox, dude. Feels bad, man.
What?
I was an HBox fan.
Until you met him?
Yeah, until I met him.
Isn't that the saying?
What happened in that story?
Oh yeah.
Dude.
So
you know that's I think
ignore
it was
my storage.
Like 10 years ago or something.
Keep up with what?
The saying that like there's two kinds of people in this world: HBox fans and people who met him.
Yeah, my first time I met him, I asked him for a best of $5 Puff Ditto, and when he found out that I was a Puff, he went his secondaries. He took 2 games, and then after the second game, he was like, "All right, I don't want to keep playing," and he takes my money. He walks away, and I was wearing the HBox shirt that he made, like the one with the cute.
Yes, it's your HBox in chat.
And he says to me, "Nice shirt," and he leaves. It was.
Are you? No, there's no way.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Leffen's right. There is no way, because he actually made up the whole story.
My friend
And just wanted to impress Leffen.
I can. My friend will be here tomorrow. You'll know. Like it was
Dude, this is like a villain story.
It made me want to get good at not at Hearthstone, at Melee. because I was like, fuck, I need to beat this guy. And that was the same tournament I met MTK, and yeah.
And you
so everything started because of that. So honestly,
that's definitely an anime origin story.
How did you feel in all of this?
I felt very sad, but also motivated. So I guess him being an ass kind of helped me, but he's just an ass.
There's also the average person will also never.
You gotta get vaccinated, dude.
Yo, Rap, thanks for becoming a member. All right.
You fucking dick.
Yeah, and I wanted that to be my last tournament. So maybe like.
Wait, so what made that?
Like, imagine posting this, like, one of the many reasons to dislike HBox with, like, the HBox devil horns or whatever, and being like, yeah, this, like, how is this not harassment? How is this is just beefing with someone? Like, okay.
Your last tournament.
The fact that I met MTK, I was like, holy shit, this guy's famous, he has a Wikipedia page. And I was like, yeah.
Wait, so you think you actually would have quit if you didn't meet Yuju King?
Yeah, because I just didn't want to play Melee anymore. I felt like I wasn't going to get anywhere.
You go take one the top player destroyed you and another one revived you.
Oh yeah, dude.
Took you in.
And the first person I met was SFAT, because he was playing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was at the same tournament. I met all of them.
Dude,
but...
someone in the chat, Hungok's being selfless, being mean to people so they can get better. Yeah, that's why. Like, I can't believe that people actually think that we're like making up stories. Like, I can't believe that people actually think that we're like making up stories. Like, every person I meet that has met him has their own story, it feels like.
I feel like most people don't give a shit unless they get, like, hurt themselves in some way.
Yeah.
That's actually how the world works. Sometimes it's like someone committed a crime and you see it, they're like, they don't care. They don't even register it. They're just like walking by. They're like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, and now I'm the 4th best puff in Texas. Oh, I came all this way.
Can you imagine if I did that?
HBox hasn't been so nice to me, but I think it's that way with all puffs.
Have you met him since then?
Oh, I met him like 5 times since then. Like, I'm friends with Crunch. Like, I have him added on Hearthstone. But
Added on Hearthstone. Dude, I'm friends with Technicals on Epic Games. That's how you know we like that.
It's even weirder.
Yeah, it's weird because like it's super awkward between me and HBox, but me and Crunch are just talking. Like, so it's like, I don't know.
Guys, join the resistance.
Join the resistance.
I tried so hard to be his friend too, which sucks. But
That's literally like what I've heard from every single puff player.
Feels bad.
From all the data we have, it's kind of safe to assume that HBox does not want puff players to exist.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Since like he sees them as a threat. Yeah, no, that's actually fucked up.
You know what I did every morning, starting off as a puff player? I would watch the GR Smash video of the Yeezus of HBox getting all the rest with the Yeezus video in the background.
You're friends with me on Among Us.
I told that to HBox. He did not give a shit. It feels bad, man.
And yeah, this was obviously before you actually met him for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, like, I still think he's an amazing player. And
Yeah,
I
of
still
course
want to
he
be.
is.
Yeah, I still want to be as good as him. Like, I'm so inspired by him, but it's like, I'm not inspired by him. I'm inspired by his play. Yeah, I think I have like a time. That's not the worst story that the worst time that I've had an interaction with HBox even. So,
what's the worst?
At Evo, I had just lost to Army. Yeah, Evo 2016. And I just lost to Army in pools. I go up to HBox, and he's like with his group of like teenagers that are like his fans, or like, I don't know if they're actually his fans. I think they just liked him because he was popular. And I go up to him and I'm like, hey HBox, what do I do against Ices? He's like, are you stupid? You really don't know what to do against Ices? I'm like, no, I just want to know what I do.
Wait, what? No. No.
Yes.
I don't believe you.
I want to actually ask him and see if he remembers it. But it was, I think he thought that I should know what to do because Ices should be just camping, but like he was actually really mean about it. And what was worse is like his group of teenagers like kind of were like snickering. So it was like, if someone could tweet at HBox and see if he remembers that, that'd be great. But
he's gonna deny it. Dude.
Yeah, that sucks because it's like he does really mean stuff to me, and I'm pretty.
But the thing is, like, why would he admit it? Why would he admit it? He has nothing to gain by admitting it.
Yeah.
Like,
see,
his fan base would never care, regardless.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. These stories are so ridiculous that you would actually think that they're made up. And the fact that we believe them should tell you enough about what experiences we've heard previously of HBox. Like, we would not believe this if someone told me, even if you tried, like, no, I'm honest. If you said this about Armada, I would be like, no, I don't believe you. I would ask Armada, is this true? But I would not just believe it, like, take it at face value.
Did the person telling the story receive any flack? I'm not sure.
But with HBox, I actually fucking believe it. It's ridiculous.
And that's why I didn't want to say it, though, is because it's so ridiculous.
Now, do you think people might not believe
if I say it, then people are going to be like, I'm a liar. So I didn't want to really say it.
#me too.
So it's like, what do I do?
Dude, #me too, guys. Everyone has a HBox story.
They just beefed. You know. They just had a little beef, little schism. It's like, what? Like, he's posting this to his channel with like the thumbnail with like horns on HBox and subscribe. Like, he posted that with like the thumbnail, like the stories and stuff, and being like, join the resistance. You gotta censor HBox in chat. It's like, how is this not like an unhinged? And then there was the, like I mentioned earlier, how he drew the green Jigglypuff on the pancake. It's like, what else? Why do that? What purpose does that serve? He mentioned, it was in Hax's video. Hold up.
But a dark.
Alright. Where is it? It should be like 7 or 8.
This was when things got even weirder. Leffen clarified conned by Leffen for an entire year. I knew exactly why HBox was being targeted at this junction. The only person with about 400,000 views. Unfortunately, not nearly enough people realized how malicious this video character. I would end up
here tomorrow.
Guys,
is comical, but if you actually look into how Leffen treated Snowy behind the scenes, it becomes clear that Snowy was used. On
Puff Slave gets to travel.
July 19, 2018, Leffen referred to Snowy as his slave, and on February 7, 2019, Leffen looked to silence Snowy for speaking positively about Jigglypuff. When Snowy tried to defend himself, Leffen accused Snowy of lying. Snowy could also be seen begging Leffen to not influence the community to ban his character. I would end up meeting Snowy at a tournament called Don't Park on the Grass that took place at the end of 2018. I talked to Snowy's highly ears and him and would repeatedly call him retarded off camera. When I asked Snowy why
Okay, did you really mean the things you said about Hungrybox? Nah, I've apologized to him since then. And then basically saying that it was like an abusive friendship between him and Leffen. So yeah, we'd probably need him to like corroborate this, but it's like even if it's true, it's like, dude, it's still like, if we're gonna ban hacks for like not handling this properly or like taking the beef too far or like escalating it to an unacceptable level, is this not escalating to an unacceptable level? Like the pancake, the video. Like, is that not escalating it? Is him making a video saying Jigglypuff should be banned? Is that not escalating it? Let me turn the music back on. But again, in their video, in this thescore esports video, they just downplay that to, oh, he had beef. But if you elaborate on it, if they actually like elaborated on why, like what happened in the beef, you would realize why people would want to not like Leffen. Like, how do you straight up look at the HBox stuff and then be like, yeah, Leffen's not actually a bad guy. Yeah, I mentioned how we were gonna go over the amount of time that they mentioned, they talked about the character. They spent...
People hated Leffen back when he played Chip and
Okay.
disliked by certain members of the scene. And anyway, these people hated...
So it was 1 minute and 45 seconds that they spend time talking about how his character's lame. It's like, why? What? Do you think Hack should just give up and move on? I mean, that he's kind of forced to. If he's not going to get unbanned, then yeah. What extent? It's just some like C dislikes extension. Yeah, and not only did they talk about that, they only stuck to one. Yeah, they only stuck to the. They only stuck to whatchamacallit, because they're like, why would they? Why would you hate Leffen for winning this tournament? Like, is it the character he plays? Like, what is it? It's like they did the most surface level research. It's like they found out about Leffen when he won Evo. It's like they had no knowledge of Leffen's existence until he won Evo. They're like, dang, no one's celebrating this guy winning. But why is that? Why do people dislike this guy? And it's like, yeah. I'm gonna leak my address for whoever bids the highest. Bids the high. Who's getting paid? Who's getting the dollar? Damn. What if I... Oh, what if I did that? Oh, damn. That's crazy. That's crazy. How does it feel, buddy? And you got timed out for 24 hours. Insane. Alright, but let's get into the real meat and potatoes here. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you guys rate the head game of this video? Like, is it that level 1, like just kind of like or is it that level 10, like what Naira was getting from Zach? Like that ultra 4D chess sloppy toppy. Like, how sloppy was the toppy in this video? Nine? Yeah, 9 is fair. I think a 9 is fair. 9 out of 10. Yeah, 9. It's a 7? Yeah, I think it's higher than a 7. It's definitely... When you say that Leffen is not... it's just straight up not a bad person. Bad out of 10. You just act like any criticism of Leffen is just unwarranted. 20 out of 15. If they didn't mention a single fault, it would have been 10 out of 10. Yeah, I think that. 11 out of 10. 5.5. Pipsqueak's head game is def a 10. No, I don't think he's a... I don't know if he's a 10. He might be like a 9 or an 8. But I feel like it's on the same level as this video. What are you guys thinking about the live streams? Like doing more in this specific format? Cause it's one thing for me to have to like script up a video and then like write everything down and edit it. But then like being able to get on live stream and just like rant or whatever when something happens, I think is a lot better. Change your mind, it's a 7.5. Yeah, I think it's definitely like an 8 or a 9. Or a 10. Yeah, what do you guys think? Yeah, do more? Yeah, because it's like, when it's a quick topic that I could just spend like an hour and a half talking about it, instead of going to have to like write up a script and like edit and that kind of stuff. Like it's easier to just like pop up a live stream. If it's not like a big case thing, like where there's a lot of information, it's like the video would be like an hour long, and I need to make sure that's if I were to go on a live stream, I would just be ranting like uncondensed for like 10 hours, just ADHD. The first 5 minutes was okay. The introduction was nice, but after that they pulled the glizzy 9000. The latency, yeah, it's because I'm at school and my internet can't handle it. I might try. To like up the like get better latency, but I don't know if I can do that. See, I might do more live streams, and then on top of that, like what do you guys think about like turning the live streams into stream highlights? So just like taking the stream and then just editing it down to the best parts and then like posting that for a condensed video. Because that might just be redundant, but at the same time it's like, if you want to watch for my like opinion on something, then you don't have to.
You gotta get vaccinated.
Yo, thanks for the 5 gifted, Sam. Then you don't have to watch the entire live stream. That's just uncondensed. You can get a more like condensed video. What do you guys?
You gotta get vaccinated, dude.
Good idea. All right, that's what I'll do. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's gonna play the notification for each individual gift.
Each individual gifted, dude. You gotta get vaccinated.
Yeah, thescore esports needs to get vaccinated.
You gotta get vaccinated, dude. You gotta get vaccinated.
Like a summary of the point. Yeah, that's what I would do.
You gotta get vaccinated, dude. You gotta get vaccinated.
Yeah. But I think I wanted to do this stream because it's like, it's one thing to just like glaze Leffen. Like I don't care. I'm not gonna react to every video where people are just like glazing Leffen. I don't care that much. But when they specifically are like using my video as like an example, and then they're not going to actually represent the points. Not even agree, like, who cares? Like, disagree with the points if you want, but at least represent them properly. And don't just say, oh yeah, he beefed with HBox. Oh yeah, he's just toxic. He's not, or he's not actually toxic. He's not actually a bad person. And then they straight up say, like, he didn't like, they acted like anything he didn't it did in Smash, like, that it doesn't carry over with him when he goes to other communities. Like, he doesn't have, like, a reputation. Like, that was dumb. And it's just poorly researched. Like, the bare minimum, like, the most surface level research. Yeah. And I also noticed someone else mentioned how, like, that's just a recurring theme with them, is, like, surface level research that's not entirely accurate. And, also stealing videos, I heard. I don't know the validity of that, but that's a thing. Yeah, I'll probably do more streams whenever something pops up, because I like doing this as well, because it's just less work for me, like not having to do like a bunch of research, a bunch of scripting and editing on a video. I mean, yeah, that is like a video topic I was thinking about, but it's like I would have to specifically go through like a bunch of their catalog to see like what the deal is. That would be, I'd want to collab with someone on that. I wouldn't want to take that on myself. I want to go through that with another person. It's harder to be funny on live stream. Yeah, I have like no charisma. It's like in Baldur's Gate, I always play the charisma classes that like use charisma for their spellcasting. But I don't have that kind of riz for live to be on live streams. So it's something I have to like work on and improve at. But yeah, like when I'm editing a video, I can edit jokes and memes into the video. So that's also a difference. Or also I can script jokes. Whereas now I have to be like on the spot funny. So yeah, it's like a whole different ball game to get used to streaming. But yeah, I kind of want to do more of this, because then I get to put out more content in general. I still cover like the bigger cases, but I don't have to yeah, I'd still have more time to edit the bigger cases, and this wouldn't like encroach or like step on the toes of those. So you guys would still get the standard franchise content, and then these live streams. Yeah. Yeah, this is the best I could do for like a, you say you can edit memes into streams too, but it's way too hard. Yeah, that's the that's the best I can do. Just the Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Yeah. Also, I don't have my green screen, so that's gonna be something. Because normally I do this for like my like the stream's waiting to begin, but I don't have a green screen, so I can't edit out the background. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing just like more stuff on here this year, because I kind of dropped the ball last year in terms of like my best years were definitely 2021 and 2022. 2021 is when I hit 1,000 and then dropped the leffen video and like kind of exploded from there. Got like the whole John Swan thing happening. And then 2022 is when I really like blew up. Hot dog or hamburger? Definitely hamburger. But it depends though, because like sometimes you're in the mood for a hot dog, but in general, burger. Unless you specifically like are like, man, I could go for a hot dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ask me just on a random day, what do you want to eat? Hamburger usually wins. But then some of those, one of those days, you're gonna be like, man, hot dog. And then hot dog wins. But like the 6 out of the 7 days of the week, you're saying burger. Yeah, exactly. They only have hot dogs, would you take it? I mean, thescore esports was taking hot dogs. Massive hot dogs. So maybe I want to be a burger. I want to be contrarian. If they're taking hot dogs, I'm taking the burger. Anyways, that's all I really had. Just wanted to stream to talk about this. Again, if they had just simply disagreed, that was one thing. But like to be like, yeah, these are examples of like people hating leffen. Why do people hate leffen? And you don't actually cite the reasons why people hate leffen. It's just lazy. It's like they're a whole company. Like you'd expect them to be better than this. And then like you hear the rumors that they're like, not rumors, but like other people being like, hey, this is like a recurring thing. Like they do surface level stuff, like research, and then also stealing videos, I've heard. Yeah. That was my issue. Funny thing is they say how a so-called villain proved the haters wrong. It's like, no they didn't. Like, I've never been like a leffen, like unironically been like, yeah, like leffen is a phenomenal fighting game player, alright? Him losing doesn't prove me right. Him winning doesn't prove me wrong. It has nothing to do with my criticisms, and most people's criticisms. Where's the music from? It's just 10 hours of lo-fi video game beats. Right here. So yeah, probably gonna end off here. If anything new pops up that's like a big deal, I'll stream about it. And yeah, alright, I'll see you guys. Oh yeah, I'll probably edit these into my last stream and this stream into stream highlights. That'll be my next 2 videos. Yeah, see you guys.